Hello, I'm Priscilla Archangel, and my leadership insight for you today is choosing a new leader, illusion or reality. Recently, while on vacation, I attended a magic show, and the illusionist left us in awe as he disappeared and reappeared in various parts of the auditorium. He passed through a plate glass window, he showed his sleight of hand, and he made it look really easy, even though his performance reflected decades of practice. Now, we know that magicians manipulate perception, they use misdirection, they use high-tech props, and other psychological principles to do the impossible. But we were still trying to figure out how he did it. The show reminded me, unfortunately, of some leaders who create the appearance of accomplishing the impossible with their outstanding performance. But behind the scenes, there's more to the story. And this is increasingly true as our world and our business environment becomes more BANI, B-A-N-I, brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible. And well-meaning leaders struggle to deliver results. So it's ever more critical for organizations to select candidates who are capable of navigating through uncharted territory to realistically manage the changing realities of our time. Because any illusion is going to eventually be uncovered. Part of the solution is to take greater care in the selection process and the orientation to the role. Just as it's important for individuals to become more self-aware of their capabilities, their leadership style, their developmental needs, organizations need to increase their self-awareness. So before formally beginning the candidate search and selection process, organizations should review the following elements. First, what's their culture? What is the actual, not aspirational, values, beliefs, and actions that are demonstrated? And this is how people behave, what they expect, what they believe about their team and the organization. Do a SWOT, strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities. Conduct an analysis of what that means in the organization and focus on reality instead of optimism or excuses. Look at the finances and economics. What are the facts and the forecasts? Where's the balance sheet weak or strong? And what headwinds are likely to impact the business? Goals. Are your vision, mission, and strategies clear? How are they communicated to stakeholders? And what are the barriers to accomplishment? And the capabilities and capacity. What specific skill sets do the leader and their team need to accomplish the goals? Assess the organization's ability to handle the complexities and the volume of work. You see, selecting and keeping the right leader for an organization is becoming increasingly challenging. Russell Reynolds Associates reports that the number of S&P 500 CEOs who departed in 2024 was a 21% increase over 2023. And 70% of the global indices they track showed higher than average turnover. Now, the underlying reasons include greater risk, increased scrutiny on performance, technology shifts, and activist investors. And there's also greater demand for leaders in their organizations to weigh in on topics that the customers or public care about, but often it's a no-win situation. And fewer individuals have the experience of handling the complex challenges that many businesses have faced in the past 5 or more years. Selection committees need to place extra emphasis on the following key steps. First, interview candidates based on the worst case challenges. These days, leaders need courage, communication, creativity, curiosity, and credibility to handle it. Second, dig into the candidate's references and prior experiences to understand how they've faced new and demanding situations in the past. And third, evaluate the leadership style, personality, and values to see how they align with the culture. Now, there is no such thing as a perfect match. The individual and the organization are going to need to commit to growing and facing challenges together. So make sure you have ongoing, upfront conversations to assess the progress, review mutual expectations, gather feedback, identify support needed. Keep the lines of communication open and avoid making assumptions about motives or intent. Despite the temptation to emphasize only what looks impressive, both the organization and the candidate have to be transparent in their strengths and their areas for improvement. This is not the time to create an illusion. They have to share reality. pull back the curtains, talk about the how they operate and get results, because no one can really do the impossible. Thanks for listening.